Welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. As always, due to strong language, inappropriate analogies, please do not listen to this around your kids. Now let's get to the podcast. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. So as you know, unedited, unfiltered. If we make mistakes, we get canceled. It's on us. That's the brand. So I hope you know what you signed up for, Marvin.
Yes, sir.
So I got a awesome guest today. This is Marvin, and your last name is Castelle, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I know. Awesome. So if you don't know who he is, you really should. He's got some very exciting highlights. Competition accolades, high-level black belt under Eddie Bravo, 10th Planet, competition. No gi. Mostly, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, only.
Yeah. But what I love about this guy, aside from the competition accolades, is his coaching mindset, right? So because we actually just did one session of your, world famous Dark Side camp,
Yeah.
correct?
Dark Arts.
Dark Arts,
Yes,
sorry.
Dark Arts training camp.
So
yes,
Dark
sir.
Side will be sued by Star Wars, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that is why I want to talk to you so much, because I think for our listeners, they are mostly like beginners or white belts or somebody who's like 6 months or to a year into the journey, right? And then the common thing that people always talk about is, how do I get better faster? And I find that for a competitor, they're not necessarily a good coach, right? But I find that you are an awesome coach as well. So can you just, the reason why I'm not asking you about, introducing yourself or how you got into jiu-jitsu is because I have listened to another podcast that you did recently, Forever White Belt.
Yes.
Right. So if you want to learn all about that, go ahead and listen
Yeah.
to Forever White Belt. That's an awesome episode about more of his background. But today, so this way we can focus on
Topic. Yes, sir.
the coaching part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question was how to get better.
Yes. So let's start from there. What does that mean to you, and what?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Man, there's so many levels and just concepts to getting better, because it's like in jiu-jitsu, it's kind of being thrown at you all at once, right? And at my gym, I try to break that down as specific as possible. So at my gym, we're going to start strictly with the movement. We're going to start with movement class. So even if the guy is injured, he's going to movement class. He's not touching anybody. So he doesn't have to worry about getting hurt again. If the guy's nervous, he can go to movement class so he could be more confident and not be so nervous, right? And then if it's a girl, she doesn't have to touch anybody. It's just movement class, right? Movement class is just an hour, and we go from A to Z on just your basic jiu-jitsu movement.
Go ahead. Yeah. Such as.
Exactly. Front roll, back roll, Granby, front shrimp, back shrimp, roll over, side fall, back fall, front fall. Like all that basic stuff we don't even talk about in jiu-jitsu. We don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? So once a student can give me, I only probably can get about 2 months of them to do it, because they want to get to jiu-jitsu
Right,
so
it's
fast.
the fun
right?
stuff.
Yeah, exactly, the fun stuff. So I probably get students to do it for like 2 months. So when they get to my actual jiu-jitsu class, they know how to do the warm-ups, right? So they're excited to be able to just do the warm-ups and feel like a jiu-jitsu guy already, a jiu-jitsu girl, right? So that's our first goal, is just to make them confident.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is if they jump right into a regular class without understanding how to move, they're gonna be like, hey, how do I even do that move?
Exactly.
Here's a armbar. I don't know how to hit. I don't know how to swivel
How
on
you
my
turn
hip.
like that.
Oh, yeah, right.
Exactly. And you're going to have all these questions, and now he's more negative about jiu-jitsu. Oh, I can't do that.
So is that from like trial and error? Is it because you ran a class a certain way before and then you find, hey, that didn't work, or how did that come about?
It's just from injuries. Like, jiu-jitsu is a very injury-prone sport. A lot of people don't talk about which way your knees are supposed to go. Which way your ankles are supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, which way your eye is supposed to be looking when you're passing in a certain direction, right? So from being at HQ, and obviously, in jiu-jitsu, you're going to see students get hurt. And HQ is a very technical spot. Shout out to Eddie Bravo. That's my sensei. I think he's a 4th degree black belt now. I am a 1st degree black belt, just so you know.
Yes.
But just over teaching over the years, watching students get hurt over and over again, shoulder, knee, neck, you name it, whatever. And it just started to it started to throw me off, meaning like, why even do jujitsu if you don't know how to move for it yet? Maybe some guys come in here with MMA experience, wrestling experience, and they can move great. Cool, right? But there's dudes coming in here out of Starbucks and they don't know how to move at all. So I just feel like if we want to keep people in jujitsu longer and we want to make the best athletes possible, right? They need to start strictly from the movement. So they could know that they're gonna be like, when they see an S mount armbar, they're gonna be like, oh, that's just our S sit drills, right? They're gonna be like, oh, I know that from the S sit drill. They don't need a partner to know that. So they're already knowledgeable without a partner. And that's huge. So when they get a partner, they're gonna cherish them not even more, that much more. When they do their movements, they're not gonna knee you in the face. Oh man, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be much more aware of their surroundings and aware of their movement.
Gotcha.
And yours, right? Hey, dude, you're not doing that right. They're gonna teach you. Hey, man, you're not doing that right. You're gonna hurt your knee.
Right,
See what
right,
I'm saying? Like,
right.
because I constantly go over these safety tips with them, trying to make them as aware as they can be on the match. Because when it's rolling time, I can't jump in like the referee and blow a whistle and
No,
stop
no,
you.
no, no, stop, ref.
No, hell
Yeah.
no. I'm gonna let you get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Like I want it's a lot of
Tough love,
yeah,
man.
it's tough love in jiu-jitsu. You're gonna get beat up some days,
Right,
but at
right, right.
least if you know how to move properly, those beatings are gonna be a little bit easier to take, right?
Right,
You
right.
know?
Okay, so I think I took out from that two very important things. So because if we're going back to how to get better, so the first thing, it sounds like movement is going to teach them to associate certain movement patterns to certain techniques, so they make that
Exactly.
connection easier.
Boom.
That's number one. Then
Exactly.
number two is you don't get hurt,
You don't get hurt. Number
because
two.
getting hurt is the
Exactly.
worst thing that can happen when you want to get good.
10 G's, blow out your knee, 10 G's. Blow
Oh
out your
man.
shoulder, what? 11 G's. And you know, when you
Hey,
go to,
that's American dollars for
oh
you
yeah, I'm
guys.
sorry,
In
guys.
Canada, it's free. But
Eh,
but you just have to wait for like 3 years before you get to see a doctor.
oh, geez.
So pick your poison.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. So, like, after the student kind of understands his movement and he's going into his, jujitsu classes, now as he goes to jujitsu class, he just start forming his game. So in my school, we already do that for you. So we have our dark arts warm up classes or our game plan class, right? So you go to class, we teach you guard retention, passing, sweeping, wrestling, leg locks, right? After we do those, then we get into our technique, right? So now you actually have 5 things that you're gonna need in jujitsu, right? And we don't just do them one day and the next day it's a seminar. No, we do them every day. And they're not changing. They're gonna stay like that for the next 6 months. So he's gonna get time to hit the bag on his guard attention, hit the bag on his
Right.
sweeping. So maybe he doesn't get everything perfectly, but I bet you he has a good Toriando pass, or I bet you has a good double leg takedown, or I bet you has a good outside heel hook. One of these things are going to seep through. And then once they can get their game plan together, right, we can start taking them to 10 planet warm up classes where they can start learning the 10 planet warm ups. How to play mission control, how to berimbolo, how to truck, lockdown, all the harder, more conceptual movements that you can't just scramble out of. You know what I'm saying? Like quarter guard, half guard, that's going to take technique. It's going to take you to look at the technique and visualize yourself doing it and then actually do it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so it sounds like the game plan class is almost like you have to. It's for them to start seeing jujitsu as a big, as a whole, right? It's like, hey,
Exactly.
when I'm engaged in the game of jujitsu or the sports of jujitsu, how am I supposed to flow through the entire hierarchy of positions and controls? And so
Exactly.
this way, there is like a dance that's going to be happening,
Yes, a
right?
choreographed dance,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah, because I think one thing that, especially because I was thinking back to when I first started, right? It took way longer than I feel like it should for me
Ex-
to understand some basic stuff like hey, what does it mean to hey, stay on your side, don't be flat, right? That took me forever to understand how to actually do that. So that's my question. How do you, in your mind, what is like the difference or the distinguishing factor between somebody who's just an instructor versus somebody who's a good coach?
So I don't feel like nowadays I feel like I've seen more heart in blue belts than some black belts. So I can't say that an instructor can't be a lower belt because I got white belt students who mimic me and they're so nice and so caring. I'm like, this guy could be a great coach. See what I'm saying? He could be better than me one day, you know? So I can't say that somebody can't love it so much and just teach their heart out every class. But I also can't say that I won't show up and teach a seminar and just completely wreck you, like with one hand. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to pick your poison on that. Like, do you want to be a coach or do you want to be a competitor? That's really a big question. I mean, you can be both, but you kind of have to. You're gonna have to really have the best schedule in the world, really, to do both. But I mean, I definitely feel like all teachers I feel should compete just to show yourself that your shit works, right? And to show your students that your shit works in the gym or outside the gym. Like, and you could get tapped next week and it'll mean nothing because your shit works. See what I'm saying? And if your shit works, your students are going to be with you forever, and if you just got to learn as a coach that you got to let them learn. Like sometimes you can't just grab their hand and just keep doing this and this, move your foot. You can't, you just sometimes it's gonna be like, what's next? No. What's next?
So
No. We're gonna go through that. And then some students can't take that. That
gotcha.
that that one on one, no, not right.
I
And
hear you.
some teachers are great and they could just move your hand. Me, I'm a competitor. I do this because I love the art, but I also love it to look good. Like if like AOJ, guys like nerds like us, we love that because it looks so good all the time. The kids look good. The old people look good. The young adults look good. So like that's what I want. I want my students to represent me to a T, like Mulan. I want them out there kicking and shooting takedowns, and I want it to look beautiful so people see it like, man, I want to be a part of that. I want to get into that pattern. You know what I'm saying? And I want to blend into it. I don't want to do my own thing, and I want to blend into that pattern. So like it, it's just definitely you have to have the love to really want to coach, but you got to have the heart of a lion to really want to see yourself out there as a competitor.
Gotcha. So how do you balance it then? Because as you said, right, being a competitor, you have to be kind of selfish, right? You have to kind of like, hey, here, this is my time to train. I have certain
Exactly.
objectives I need to hit, right? And that doesn't always go hand in hand with what a coach should be doing at that moment, right? So how do you balance that?
So for me right now, like I just opened my gym, so I haven't been competing for probably like the last, I think, 2 years.
So
That's what
just
I
being
wanted to get.
coaching mode
Just been
for
on
this.
pure coaching mode. The gym life is much more complicated than the jujitsu life, personally. But I mean, I'm down to compete. I'm gonna get paid for it, and I'm gonna do it. We're gonna scrap. I'm gonna get paid early. We're gonna scrap, and then I'm gonna go back to coaching, right? But for me, like as a teacher, I just try to keep a schedule. On Monday, I'm doing my coaching gig. I'm gonna be stretching out the day, and I'm gonna be working with my students, working my movements on my students with my students, right? So I get my reps in. I'm gonna keep showing it.
But at the same time, you're showing
I'm
them,
getting
hey, this is how it works,
and it's
so
how it works.
they can feel it, right?
Exactly. I'm gonna be working on it. Sometimes it's gonna be light. Sometimes all right. Now we're getting gritty. Now let's go. Mindset change. I'm always yelling at the students. Let's go. Like when they're chill. All right, guys. Mindset change. It's game time. So now we can get into that intense mindset. And then on Tuesday I'm gonna go hit weights. I'm gonna do my kettlebell workout and my conditioning. I'm just gonna stay strict on it because I know when I'm super strong, I'm a problem for literally everybody I touch. I know it. So even if the dude's super fucking strong, if I'm super fucking strong with him, I feel so much more confident. But if I'm just all technique, I just feel like a little brittle stick. I just feel like a stick.
Okay, yeah,
But when I'm hitting those kettlebells every day, when I grab dudes are like,
all right,
what?
yeah, yeah. I gotta confess, when I watch some of your competition footages,
Yeah.
right, and like the how tight you roll in certain positions, and once you catch it, man, just by watching it, my knees are exploding. I'm like, damn, that's like tight as shit,
I'm
man.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, you can see it through the screen.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I want you to feel the break. I want guys to know, like, if you let me grab something out there on the field and I'm taking it home,
Yeah,
and
but at that level, you have to
you
have that kind
have
of
to.
intention. Otherwise, they're just gonna,
They're gonna
bust out of
counter
there.
or they're
Yeah.
gonna get out and
Yeah.
pass your guard, 100%, hundred
Nice.
percent. But I just feel like, yeah. Then on Wednesday, I'm back to doing it with my students, back to drilling. Not crazy drilling, just drilling. And then Thursday, I'll go train with Eddie, right? And I'll get to roll with the black belts,
So
right?
you still get your
Heck
own,
yeah, I still
go
got
to
a
your
schedule
coaches,
going,
let's go to your
because
own coach and stuff
I
like
got
that.
different game now. My game's different now. I've been training
Nice.
with my students. I've been training. I've been going around the world doing camps. So my game's different, and it's different in a good way because in the beginning I just felt like my game was a little too focused on one thing, but now I feel like I'm learning the grappling world. I'm trying to be a grappler. I'm
Okay.
trying to, I'm not trying to be scared to take anybody down. I could
Right,
take
right.
somebody down, anybody.
Yeah, so I guess that's why they say when you get your black belt, it's almost like you're starting as a white belt again, right?
Exactly,
Man,
literally,
that's awesome.
and it's a beautiful experience, and I try to encourage black belts to come by, and I need those black belt roles. We need each other. Don't be scared. I don't care where rank you're from. You're in the gi, come get some no gi. Like you're free. I want those black belt roles, and like I want to be dominant with you. I want you to tap me. You tap me in front of my students. Thank God. I want you to show my students that I'm human. I'm not just some Goku or some Broly, right? I think that's always a awesome thing for students to see is me get beat up.
Right, right.
So I
Because
always bring on my hard
you
guys.
also show them it's okay to get tapped. It
Exactly.
just means
They
you're
see,
getting better. Yeah.
they see. I brought my boy Patrick over, and he's come over and bullied me to the ground, and I think we called each other 1-1, but they got to see me get tapped and just me see me get humbled. They didn't see me get complain, say anything. I'm like, damn, I gotta get better at that. And then they just, whoa, coach shook that off like it was nothing. I'm like, man, are you serious? If you're getting frustrated from rolls, don't go to competition,
Oh,
man.
man, it's gonna be 10
It's
times
gonna be
worse.
10 times worse. Dudes are gonna be slapping you in the head, palming you in the mouth, bowing you. Like you gotta be calm about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You
Nice,
gotta.
nice.
This is where movement class comes in. Boom, you know how to
Gotcha.
move. You're relaxed. You're not scared of a little collar tie action.
Because you know how to flow
Yeah, we're
with it.
flowing what
Yeah.
But if you see a guy, you're like, dude, you're reacting to this collar tie too much. Relax. You know how you talk to your white belts. Hey, dude, you're getting a little too emotional. Lower their emotion. So like, and it takes guys a long time to get their emotions together out there. That's why I say like, get in there with those. Don't dodge rolls. That's all. Another thing I'll say, guys, don't dodge rolls, man. You need those hard
Make that
rolls.
eye contact, guys.
People are like literally. I don't know. I think sometimes some gyms allow dodging, and that makes people not as good. That's the thing that can really hinder you. Those I know he's gonna whoop you up. I know everyone's gonna watch, right? But I mean, I kind of like the fact of me getting beat up in front of Eddie and Eddie saying like, okay, Marvin's not scared to go out into the to the deep end and swim with the
Right.
sharks. I'm never scared. So like, I think that's what I want to push in the students, and that's the mentality you gotta have to be a good competitor. Yeah, you're gonna lose out there sometimes, but shit, you're gonna win too.
Right.
But you gotta want to win, and you gotta
Gotcha.
and visualize it.
Right. So it sounds like another really important component about coaching and being a good coach is leading from the front, right? Setting that
Exactly.
example. So I think that that's what you were just talking about, and that is awesome. So let's talk about the camp session that we just had, right?
Uh
Because
huh.
because as I said, I love doing an interview right after I've experienced your coaching firsthand, right?
No, good.
Right. So there's a couple of things that I noticed that I would love to say is very different than a lot of these seminars I've been to. And I think you design it on purpose to not repeat those same mistakes, right?
Oh
A lot of the
yeah.
seminars like they bombard you with like 10 million techniques, and then you just kind of half-heartedly drill it a bit, and then you move on to the next and next and next, right?
Oh
And
God.
then that's why I usually never go to seminars because I find that I will be paying big bucks just to do a photo op, right? I just hey, I took a picture with so and so, and then I come away with nothing really. I don't remember any
You
of
don't
that
remember
shit,
any of that shit.
right? But yeah, but for you, you started by, hey, let's do like a sequence of things, and here's the first thing that we're gonna do. Here are the details. Let's actually drill it for real, right? Let's make sure we get all the details down, and then you keep going.
We started just with the
Yeah,
movement, right? Just the movement of things. Relax. Get your movement together. Get your flow together. Michael Jackson, where's your flow at, dude? Some people don't got the tempo. Some people like, they like they're off. You know, they don't know how to just flow, right? So you know, we got to teach them though. We got to
Right.
relax. How many times do you on your whiteboard?
I know.
Relax.
Right.
So,
Breathe,
but I think
breathe,
that's
breathe, bro,
breathe.
breathe. Yeah.
He's, I'm like, are you trying to kill yourself right now? Like, I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing we say most of the time is relax.
Yeah.
All right, you're in there, relax, you know? So, like, we started with the movement and then we got to a transition, right? Like a HQ position, you know, right? So, which is leg draggy land. Since you weren't here yesterday, so we had to get straight into it. So we got straight into it in a leg draggy land escape, combat based escape. That was more like, I would say that is like part two, right? So part one is just our movement. Or excuse me, we had to kind of combine from yesterday. So yesterday we just did the movement and
Right.
then we did the takedown, right? But we landed in like draggy land just to get to the position, right? And then we did the escape, which would be like for you guys for today was part two, and then on part three we went on to the back take,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
just try to keep you guys on topic, right? Where are we going? We're traveling. Remember, we're traveling
Right.
jiu-jitsu, right? It's
Right.
a pattern. We're following the pattern,
Right.
and
Right.
you guys
What I
did.
notice is that because you make sure people make the connection between one move to the next, right? So it's not just a random set of techniques that is hard to remember, right? That's
No, no,
I
just
think that is the one thing that I really love. But one thing I noticed is that you make us repeat all the stuff that you're saying. Why like such like leg draggy land? You're like, hey, let's say it together, and everybody says it. So why do you do that?
because like you remembering the movement's cool, but if you don't know the name of the movement, what's the does it mean anything? It doesn't mean anything. So like even in movement class, it's it's A for arm drag scoops, right? So I make them repeat. What is this? A for arm drag scoops. So what are you doing right now? That's just an arm drag scoop. So when we get to jujitsu, I'm like, hey, oh, you see that arm drag? He was like, damn, coach, that was like an aggressive arm drag scoop. And I'm like, you got it right. And then now they just connected a movement to the technique. So now when they drill that technique, boom, they get it like a lock and key.
Gotcha.
They're doing it perfectly rather than like a slacking version, right? So now my guys have really good arm drags. Now my guys have really good triangles
Okay.
because they've been popping triangles, right? But just trying to keep you on pattern. It's still all connected. Like all those jujitsu movements are connected.
Right.
All those jujitsu techniques are all connected.
Okay, so it makes sense now because you're forcing that connection, right? So when they can connect the movement with something that's concrete and not abstract, then they can do
Exactly.
it with way more intention now, right? Yeah.
Exactly. You know,
Okay, that makes
and
total sense.
intelligence, the IQ goes up.
Right.
You
Right.
need their IQ to go up because jiu-jitsu's so fast paced, especially no gi. The
Right.
gi's a little different. Boom, collar grip,
Right.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Let's throw this on the hip and
Yeah.
fall. Boom. I like the gi because it's so technical, right? And it flows. But there is a lot going on nowadays, man. You know, double sleeve grips, pistol grips. What was it? What's the new thing? Lapel
All
guard.
kind of weird lapel
Oh
stuff,
my
man. Warm,
God.
de la warm, whatever. All the, and people think 10th planet names are stupid. That's even more stupid. Reverse de la warm. What the fuck is that shit? You know. Oh, sorry, we got kids in the audience right now, so I'm gonna watch my language.
Oh yeah.
Promise.
Yeah. I think actually Della Wormguard, it is kind of a funny name, but I think the guard is dope. It's
It
actually
is. It
really
is.
tough. It's
Yes.
actually really tough to deal with. I actually had a guy do it to me. I was just throwing the gi on with a guy, and it was terrible. I was like, oh my god, what? How long does it take you to get past this? How can you even get to jujitsu?
That's why I train 1 day of no gi every week,
Yo,
so I know how to deal with that stuff.
I just leg lock you. That's what we think. We're just like, I just would heel hook you.
Yeah. It's
Like,
like, hey, no heel hook in the gi.
do they let you ankle lock and knee bar in the gi?
You can ankle lock and knee bar. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
just
yeah.
no heel.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Even though I'm always tempted, but I'm like,
it is tempting, right?
it's very tempting. It's right there.
You could just throw
Yeah.
the gi around the.
It's right there. So much friction too.
I wonder if you could do that. You probably could just have the gi, like throw the lapel around the heel and just like power heel.
I'm sure somebody will figure it out. If they allow it, somebody will figure it out,
I think
right?
that, well, I don't know. For me, like, I don't think they should allow heel hooks in the gi because it's just too dangerous, man. It's too much tension.
Yeah,
One in
yeah.
those grips, I just think a
I
dude
mean,
can.
they're already doing AOK locks to kind of make up for that, right? You know, a little bit. So,
Oh, they have been doing Aoki locks in the gi.
yes.
You are right. I have
Yes.
seen some vicious ones.
Oh, yeah,
You
man.
got people. What the hell is it? What is your idea on people just not tapping? Like it don't even look like you were gonna tap. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like if you're like this, I'm like, all right, he's about to tap at least. But guys are
But some
just
people are just like,
What do
Yeah,
you think
like the
about that?
remember the Meow brothers? You know, there's like this picture of one of the real Tolo brothers got him in like a fully extended knee bar, and it was already hyperextended, and he was like,
Just chilling.
"No,
What do you think of that?
I think it's stupid, man. I think it's so stupid. You're like you're trading short-term whatever glory that
By the time he's
that nobody's
70,
gonna remember 10 years down the line. Nobody's gonna care that you used to be world champion, right? And now you're trading that for the rest of your life. You know, I feel that is stupid. It's not worth it in my mind. For $1 million, maybe. 10 million bucks, sure,
that's
but
true.
unless it's something like that, it's just not worth it, man.
No, man.
What's your take on that? Because I don't compete at your level, so I want to hear like a high level
I think
competitive stuff.
Meow's a great competitor. He's a, I think I went against Zhao. Zhao, I think they're both great competitors. They've always inspired me. I've been watching them since I was a white belt. So like to even scrap against them was huge. And I actually did. I actually felt like I beat him. I actually took him down at the end of the match. They bullshitted me. It was all Brazilians though. So they said it was last point to score. It was last point to score, and he passed my guard in the round, right? Because I wanted to wait. I didn't want to waste my energy for the wrestling round, right? So we started standing. I ankle picked him to the ground, and I held him there. And then I stood up because I got the 2 points, and he spiraled under me, and then they gave him the points.
What?
That was bullshit. That's bullshit. We're wrestling. This is a takedown round. So how could you spiral? Right there. So it was just bullshit. But I beat his ass. I beat him by points. And I caught a deep ass heel hook on him, a few of them, and he ate him. But one of them hurt him. One of them hurt him for real, because he was slightly limping at the end of the match too. But long story short, they gave him the win. More props to him. He was super nice. I don't think you should take damage. I think if you get caught, I think you should be hard to kill, but you don't need to take damage to be hard to kill. You should just be tricky. Be
Yeah.
tricky. You gotta have tricky arms,
Yeah,
tricky
yeah,
legs.
yeah. Dude,
This
God.
taking damage, this isn't tricky.
Yeah.
Moving your arm like Nicky Rod, he's tricky.
Yeah. Did you see the recent one, J Rod in the group
Yeah,
chat?
but J
Do
Rod
you
takes
think you took? Do
J
you think
Rod
you took
takes a lot of
damage?
damage. to
So
me.
so you think you
Nicky
took
Rod
damage?
doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think Nicky Rod takes damage. I
Because he
think-
got bigger biceps?
Yeah, he's bigger. He's like a Ninja Turtle, right? But J Rod takes a little damage to me. I've seen him hurt his shoulder already. And he kind of throws out his back here and there. I don't like that, man. He has so much talent. I'm just like,
Right.
just avoid all that, like, just crashing into each other, like, and then like taking shoulder locks and go platas and arm locks. Man, I would rather get put to sleep than take any joint lock.
So I think this kind of ties into what we're talking about again in the beginning. So after all that, how do you train your students to be hard to kill without taking damage? What is the coaching style for that?
So at my gym, we do topic-based classes. So once they get past game plan class or dark arts warm-ups, these are beginner classes. These are beginner.
Yeah, more
We
more
get
like
into-
more macro stuff, right?
Yep. Now we get into mixed level classes. All right, you're coming to passing class. You're coming to rubber guard class. You're coming to lockdown class. You're coming to guard retention class. See what I'm saying? So now whatever class you want to go to, dude, we're on that. We're all we're doing is passing the guard and live drills. All we're doing is guard retention and live drills. All we're doing is lockdown and live drills. All we're doing is guard. What is it? We have fight team practice now, but that was leg lock class. Fight team practice is basically like leg lock class and competition class, right? But in competition class, it's rough. It's way rougher. Guys have to go through easily a year of mixed level class with me, so I know they can wrestle. Because at my gym, we do rounds. We do 10 round Tuesday and everything, but every round in my classes, we do, 3 or 2 rounds or 4 rounds, depends on the time. You have to do one wrestling round, and that's going to be 3 minutes, right? So if you don't know how to wrestle, you're just gonna be getting dumped on your shit for
Yeah.
the next 3 minutes,
That's just not fun, man.
But it's good because, man, all my students will fucking snatch single you. I love that. Like every one of them, since they've been bullied in the wrestling so much, they all have to take the initiative to learn how to wrestle.
Right.
Because I hate to see jiu-jitsu dudes not know how to wrestle. It is weird nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Take that single, dude. What the hell? Ankle pick his ass.
Yeah, it's true, especially if the other person knows like you want to play like
Yeah.
a certain type of guard, then they make it really tough for you to get into those positions. Then you gotta wrestle.
You gotta wrestle with his ass. And you probably could take most dudes down. People just don't have the confidence, or just the tactical ability. And that's what when I get back in a competition now, I wanna be able to work a little bit more on my wrestling. And I feel like I've only taken maybe like 3 or 4 people down, But
So do you think people are gonna be surprised when you come back? Like, hey, this Marvin's a completely different grappler.
I definitely think my game is going to be changed, but similar. But I definitely think they're going to be excited for me to come back because I
Nice.
am excited.
I'm excited.
I
I want to see
definitely,
it.
I'm excited to just hit something really hard. I just, I want to be able to go 100%. And if you don't tap, it's your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the odds. I love
Yeah.
the stat. That,
Yeah, you have to hit another highlight to get even more views than your viral even roll,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
that cannot be your best work. It has to be,
Oh
the best
yeah,
work is yet to come.
yeah. I definitely think I could top that any
Nice.
day. I got so many techniques in
Yeah.
my game, so
Cool.
that's just like it's old. It's super old
I know,
nowadays.
right?
People still show it though. I'm like, that's
You're like,
so
man, that's when I wasn't even that good. Now I'm so much better now, right? That's
yeah.
how you feel. I know.
Kind of in a way, yeah. I feel like that was okay. Yeah, that could be a little bit better, but I can't say it's not nice because people are like, oh, you're just being cocky. But I feel like nowadays the techniques changed. The game has changed. We're doing buggy chokes now.
Oh man, you have to watch out for that,
What do you think
especially
about
with the
that?
younger guys. The younger guys, they spam it from everywhere. It forces you to, and
The
they got,
young guys.
yeah, because
They do. I mean,
older guys, you're gonna fucking break your shit if you do it too
yeah.
much, But
Maybe one. We'll do it to like get you off of us,
right.
but not from everywhere. That's a really compromising position, right? I think
Yeah.
that's probably why my leg hurts right now, from buggy
Yeah,
choking.
I'm seeing like younger guys like they attempt it even when people are in north and south, they half guard, whatever. It's just like you always gotta be thinking about it now.
Yeah, you got to. I'm not trying to get buggy choked. I'm gonna kill the guy if I get buggy choked. Right. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so let's if so that means your guys when you're helping them to train to be tough to kill, then you would do those live rounds, right?
Oh yes.
So do you think are you following like the latest ecological trend, or do you think they're just calling live rounds with a different name? I mean, what's your take on that?
So what's also making my guys hard to kill? Like we have a beginner class called escape class.
Ooh,
Exactly,
wow.
exactly. So all beginners before they get to mixed level, they report to game plan or escape class or guard retention class. That's a beginner class too. It's just a competition beginner class.
Right, right,
So I
right.
say, oh dude, if you're gonna be a punk ass, you can't go to guard retention class. I'm only allowing hitters in there. You gotta wanna get hit, you gotta wanna do the hitting. No pansy shit, you know what I'm saying? And I talk to them like that because now they know, oh damn, he said pansy. I ain't going in that class, So it's just like,
Or if they go, they know they have tough
dude,
skin,
you
right?
gotta
They're
get
like,
throw
yeah,
that mouthpiece
I'm
in,
ready,
throw
I'm
some
ready,
dirt.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, man, dudes like to get rowdy. We like to scrap, and we gotta teach the chicks how to scrap. And those girls you got are tough, but like not all girls are tough like that. Most girls are brittle, and we're just like, dude, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So we have to build the room we want. Right, so I feel like another point of them being hard to kill is escape class. They learn how to escape the darts, the mount, the back. All the guys are hard to get on the back. They
Right,
just
right, right.
escape. They know how to control the palms. They do super technical details.
Yeah. So do you get them started in like the worst position
Oh
possible to
yeah,
go?
that's all
Yeah.
escape class
Yeah. Yeah.
is. It's
Nice.
literally you're starting in like
Yeah.
bad positions the whole time,
Cool.
and then they can move on to their more. For me, escape class should be like a year-long thing. I wouldn't say they leave it so quickly because you know how beginners are. They're stuck in positions all the time,
Right. Right.
you know.
Right.
But the ecological approach, like you were saying, I do study a little bit of it, and I like what he says. I like the stuff he talks about. I sometimes I don't understand it with beginners. Like sometimes you just can't say grab the arm and the head, and he does it perfectly the way you need it. Maybe he just does it in some non-correct way, but I just feel like with some beginners, you're gonna have to teach them some type of movement. At least a little. And
Right.
I mean, saying drilling is dumb. I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far, but some of the things he does say, I like. Some of the games he does play, I do like. And
Okay, so it sounds like your gripe is with complete beginners because if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying if you let a complete beginner just try to discover jujitsu through ecological approach,
just get
they
hurt.
might build bad habits, right?
Bad
Let's say you
habits,
grab
get
arm
hurt.
always the wrong way or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Or if you, as you said, right, if they try to come up the wrong way, they break their own knee or some shit, right?
And then what?
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
I'm sure he has an answer to that,
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty sure he
yeah.
has an answer for it, and I
Yeah,
would love to hear
he
it.
sounds like a very smart guy, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
seems
he's yeah.
very intelligent.
It's Greg Souders we're talking about
Yeah,
here.
shout out to Greg.
Yeah.
But I would definitely want to know more about super beginners, like like, how is he showing it to him? I definitely have to go to his school and, witness a class. But I like what he's doing. I'm glad it's not ridiculous jujitsu. Sometimes, like, because sometimes classes are just ridiculous. One technique, then, live drill, open mat. That's probably not going to
Yeah,
build.
that's why everybody only shows up for the open mat. They're like, ah man, I don't even want to come for the technique, you know?
Yeah, so, I definitely feel like, we have to bring a little bit more to the table with students nowadays so we can keep guys on the mats longer so they could actually
So
become the
what would
next.
be your perfect class structure then? Or I mean, I shouldn't say perfect because
Yeah,
that's very subjective from class to class or
exactly.
depending on level. So for a complete beginner, what do you once they've gone past the movement stuff, right? So let's say they go to one of your guard retention class or escape class, right? What would be like the class structure like?
I mean, for a beginner, if he just started, I would say I would want him to go to like, personally, one movement class a week, right?
Right. So keep that up
Yeah, keep his movement up to get. So what if he's tired and he works all day? He needs to just go to movement. Relax.
and not
Right?
fight so hard,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I feel like he should do wrestling or sambo, right? On top of escape class or guard I would definitely say passing class, dude. Shit, get your passing up. If he has good passing, he has good escapes. That's an awesome match. And then he has some sambo in there. He has some leg locks now. He has some throws. He has some wrestling in there. He has great takedowns. That's actually a good combination. So
Right.
for me, I kind of let the students be the grappler they want to be. If you want to be the grappler that's a escape artist, okay, for sure. I'm gonna crush you, right?
To make sure
But
you, yeah.
yeah, so you better have game that can crush me. So I try to get guys to, be the grappler they want to be instead of me making them how I want. I already kind of did. So it's your job now to kind of mold yourself into the rest, right?
So okay, so you feel like you can guide them to a certain point and then they have to discover who they are from there on,
Exactly.
right?
I'm missing videos and techniques, and we're gonna continue to train. But
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great segue into the next section I wanted to ask you about, right? So because before the camp, you say bring your notebooks. So are you a big note taker?
me, yes, I have closet full of notebooks filled to the T. I have a notebook in my book bag right now. But not everyone's a big note taker, so I do promote it at my gym. Bring a notebook. Always trying to write down the techniques. But I'm not gonna pressure too many people unless they really want it. But it's really to each is their own. But I'm huge on taking notes. I study technique every day, damn near. I can't
Okay.
even get off. It's an addiction.
Yeah. So when you take your notes, I mean, are there different ways to do it? Do you write like details? Do you draw stick figures of the
Oh,
sequences? I mean, what's your style?
no, I mean it depends what I'm watching. Like if okay, so for instance, I was watching Amy Campos. You know who Amy
Yep,
Campos
yep,
is? Amy
yep.
Campos is a really good female grappler. She has a knee cut DVD. I know how to knee cut. I've watched Wootsy's knee cut DVD too. So why don't I watch hers? I watch hers. She broke down her different ways to knee cut. I spammed the first four of them to see how they work in on beginners and how they work in with black belts. Two of them worked, right? So right there, that's what I put in my notebook. Amy's blast knee cut worked. Yes. Amy's side blast knee cut worked. Yes. Amy's switch grip knee cut, nah, didn't go that well, right? And I'm before I give up on a move, it has to go down. It has to get smashed four times on four different people of all different levels. Like if a white belt can smash something and block it, that's a problem. So that technique, I don't know if that one's a real one. But I try to not give up on a technique until it's down, let me down four times,
Okay,
literally.
okay.
So, but I don't really put too many techniques into my game quickly. I really have to do it a few times. I have to land it maybe 10 times for me to put it in my game,
Gotcha. Okay.
you know.
Cool. Yeah. So it sounds like your note, at least for now, from what I'm hearing, it's more of a journal of what's working, what's not working, like for you
Exactly.
to track, right?
I really don't draw too much.
Right.
Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. I do web maps sometimes, circle maps, right? But usually if I'm systemizing something,
Okay,
if it's my systems, but if it's just like,
Yeah, because I've talked to, I don't know if you know Tuna. He's a 10th Planet brown
oh yeah,
belt.
yeah,
Yeah, so if you know Tuna,
to the beast,
yeah.
boy.
Yeah, so Tuna is actually the co-instructor at the BJJ for the semi-private
Oh
courses.
really?
So yeah,
What?
it's good that you know who he is. But
Heck yeah.
because when I asked him about the same question, one of the gripes that because he was really big on note taking and stuff too, but he was telling me that he had to draw the maps or flowchart, right? But he find it extremely hard to update. If he wants to discard something or add something new, then he has to redraw everything, and then he's ended up having like binders, like huge binders of things that he can't really take with him, and then he lost like a few of them. It's really hard to organize, So, has there been any issues or anything at all that you feel like, hey man, this is a great system, but but these are some of the stuff that's kind of making it not as convenient for me or anything.
I mean, I just have a huge treasure chest in my house that I have all my binders in, so like I don't have to really too trip about it. But it is getting really filled up, But when I fill it up, then I'll probably just get another one. Because I mean, I like to look back at my binders and check out stuff. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh damn, I did do this, right? And I'll go back to some old technique to when I was like a blue belt,
Right,
right?
right, right. Like,
Yeah, I got probably booklets since I was a white belt, and I like to look back at that so I could be like, what was I thinking as a white belt?
so it's
These guys are tripping.
so it's kind of like when Facebook shows you memory from 10 years ago. Hey, 10 years ago you were doing this. You're like, whoa, I forgot about that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or just trying to dig back into my white belt mindset to get back to what the hell
Because
was I thinking.
because
Yeah.
that will make you understand your white belts better. Right?
Exactly. My blue belt. What was I thinking at my blue belt level? Oh, damn. I was really thinking like this. Why are purple belts so damn emotional? Let me get back into my purple belt binder. Oh, I was a punk ass back here. I understand.
Yeah.
But, I just feel like I love, diving back into that journey and that memory of how I was so I could really connect with these guys. Because sometimes I'm just this black belt
Yeah.
and, I'm there to terrorize and teach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? So, I don't really feel as a purple belt sometimes that much, I'm watching high level guys. I was just watching ADCC this morning,
Yeah, the
so,
European trials, right? Yeah.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
was
was
watching
good,
that too.
man. It was getting me hyped. Some good stuff, you know. But yeah, that's probably my biggest thing, when it comes to that as well.
Nice, nice, awesome. Yeah, because I know there's the other session that's going to be happening pretty soon, so I want to wrap this up so
Oh,
this
yeah,
way
yeah.
you can kind of chill out a little bit.
No worries, no
Right.
worries.
So because I was hoping to show you something on camera, but then let's see, let's do that off the camera now because
Okay.
we as part of Way BJJ, our thing is actually we are trying to find solutions for note takers like you to be able to use it in a way that makes sense in an app. So I'll show you that off camera, so this way you can give me your honest thoughts.
Okay.
And then see what you think of it, right? But as far as for the podcast goes, where can people learn more about you if they want to do one of your dark art, camps or whatever? Go to your school. Yeah, where do they find you?
Okay, they can send me a message at Dark Arts Training Camps on IG, and then you could follow us at Tempe Dark Arts Academy on IG as well. You can also follow me at Marvin Castelle 10P on IG as well. We are friendly gym. You guys can come by anytime you like.
It's Torrance, right?
Yes, in Torrance,
Torrance,
California,
California.
near Redondo Beach. Close to the beach though, guys, so you could have a really fun time. And yeah, I'm out here in Vancouver doing a Dark Arts training camp. We're about to go into our third session. Heck yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, so I have all those information in the show notes, so this way you can easily go and follow along on this first degree black belt. Right, awesome, man. Thank
you,
you
man.
so much, Marvin. That was awesome.
Peace.
Thank you. And just like that, we're out. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review if you haven't. All right. Good.
Right.